Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Remember to join the Patreon to vote in the poll, and like and subscribe to stay at the top of your class next time you play. Maybe. There's also character sheets on the Patreon now at the $5 tier. I forgot to mention that. That's 20 sheets per character, 2 characters per week, for a total of 120 sheets per month if there's 5 weeks in the month. It depends on the weeks, but it's there. Check it out. Today we're building Bakugou from My Hero Academia. He's basically every rival trope rolled into one, covered in gasoline and shot out of a bazooka. But if you wanted to know how to build a character with punches that literally explode, this is the build for you. Or the Yang build. Thankfully, none of the poll options this week have grenade hands unless I am drastically misremembering Shrek. Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, explosions. Big, stupid, reckless explosions that will melt Deku's stupid face, even if they also melt our own face. Second, let's try not to melt our own face. You know how a chef will just be able to reach into a hot pan with their bare hands and not seem bothered? We want that, but instead of testing the firmness of a steak, we're setting off a 10-pound thing of napalm in our hand. Finally, we'll get some kaboom speed, blasting our way across the battlefield to do our best impression of a rocket. And rockets explode! For stats, we're going to be using the standard point array from the Player's Handbook. Roll for stats if you want, just look out for strength, dexterity, and wisdom. That's right, it's another bonk, which is a hybrid of a barbarian and monk. I promise though, it will be different than the Yang build. I've never made the same build twice, even if sometimes it seems like the voters want me to. Strength will be number 1. When you make your hands explode, they don't fly away. That's impressive. Wisdom next. That's right, I said wisdom. Your quirk has to come from your soft stats, and you're the only person who figures out that Deku didn't spontaneously get the best superpowers overnight. That's a combination of insight, perception, and probably a crush. You're really obsessed with Deku. Dexterity after that, you're like my favorite Vin Diesel movie, The Pacifier, in which Vin plays Shane Wolf, who is fast and furious. That's a long walk for a short drink of water. Follow that up with Constitution. If you're gonna cowabunga, you can't be a coward bunga. Intelligence is a bit low. I wish it was higher. Bakugou is a smart guy. But hey, D&D is an anime. You can't have 20 in every stat like you should. Charisma is low. I've heard of Bakugou. I'm wondering how we can make Baku go to the dispensary. Because he needs to chill. Bakugou is a human, but he's a quirky human, so he's a perfectly variant human. Elemental Adept seems like a good feat for Firehands McGee, but it only works on spells and will only be casting 1 spell total in this build. Most of our fire will be from other sources, so when in doubt, tough it out. The tough feat is good. It gives you 2 HP for every level you have and every level you get. If you don't know what feat to give a human, tough is always a solid option. Bump your strength and dexterity with your 2 free points. Regular humans get +1 to every stat, which I guess is great if you want to be mediocre at everything, but variant humans also get skills of their choice, like intimidation for yelling. Take the stalker background for insight and perception. That's not a real background, you're building your own, but you do observe a lot in kind of a creepy way. We'll kick things off as a monk, so you'll get 2 skills from the monk list, like athletics and acrobatics, to lift and swift as necessary. You get martial arts, letting you make an unarmed attack as a bonus action after you attack with a monk weapon or unarmed attack. You're more of a puncher, honestly, and your punches deal 1d4 damage instead of just 1 plus your strength modifier, so that's a bigger punch. You can use your dexterity modifier for it as well, but strength is a better option for you, so use that instead. Of course, you can't be doing this with heavy armor on, but thanks to unarmored defense, you won't be suffering too much with AC equal to 10 plus your dexterity and wisdom modifier when you're not wearing armor. We're not going to focus too much on getting the AC high though, honestly. It doesn't help kill our rivals. Second level monks get key points they can use for quirky things like flurries of blows, letting you make 2 attacks as a bonus action instead of 1. Step of the Wind lets you spend a key point to dash or disengage as a bonus action and double your jump distance if you need to close the gap between you and your foes. Those are really the only 2 you would probably use, but Patient Defense lets you dodge as a bonus action. Unarmored movement just makes you faster than everyone else because you're better than everyone else as long as you're not wearing armor. Though you're better than everyone else always because you are Bakugou. Third level monks get to choose a monastic tradition. 4 elements monks can play with fire, and playing with fire is cool. Fangs of the Fire Snake lets you spend a key point to extend your unarmed attacks by 10 feet, not to 10 feet like I said in the Yang video. It also turns it into fire damage, which you can spend an extra key point per attack to add an extra d10 of fire damage to. This will be a kaboom. It's not our biggest kaboom, but it's a solid start. Remember, this doesn't work with the Elemental Adept feat because it's not a spell, and that's why we didn't take that feat. You can also deflect missiles, letting you reduce damage from ranged attacks by 1d10 plus your dexterity modifier and monk level as a reaction, and you can even yeet the ammo back with a key point. I'd save it for an explosion though. 4th level monks get slow fall, letting you reduce falling damage by 5 times your monk level as a reaction. If your blasts can shoot you higher, they should also help break your fall. You also get an ability score improvement. Strength will be our first damage factor, so I think that's what Bakugou would invest in if he was playing D&D, though I don't think it's a game for him. 1 nat 1 and you no longer have a living room. 5th level monks get an extra attack, letting you attack twice instead of once with your action or 4 times with a flurry of blows. After spending a key point, all those are fire punches. I guess 2 because you need the flurry, but you need sweat a little to get it started, you know? You also get stunning strike, letting you spend a key point to force a constitution saving throw of 8 plus your wisdom modifier and proficiency bonus on a creature you hit with a melee attack. Failing that, they're stunned until the end of your next turn, letting you make your attacks with advantage for more potential crits. Since your monk damage die bumps up to a d6 at this level, you're also going to deal more damage. That's pretty nice. 6th level monks get key empowered strikes, making your punches magical in terms of overcoming resistances. If you run out of key points, this is a last ditch quirk equivalency thing. Or you could save your key points for things like the Fist of 4 Thunders, which lets you cast Thunder Wave with 2 key points. That forces a constitution saving throw on creatures in a 15-foot cube in front of you, dealing 2d8 thunder damage to those that fail, half as much to those that succeed. If they fail, they're also pushed back 10 feet. A homebrew rule I like to use: if pushing damage pushes someone into a wall, I treat it like falling damage. I just feel like you're being sent into a surface with tremendous force. That should deal damage, right? 7th level monks get evasion, letting you take half damage on failed dex saves and no damage on successful ones. This will get more important later, but for now it's still good. Dex saves are really common. You also get stillness of mind, letting you use an action to remove an effect of charming or frightening. I don't think stillness of mind is quite how I would describe how it works for you, more like being too mad to be scared. Picture Bakugou in a haunted house. Now picture Bakugou launching a minimum wage temporary employee 100 feet in the air. Did those 2 pictures look different? Didn't think so. 8th level monks get another ability score improvement, cap off the strength to get the most out of your rages. I just realized we don't have rage yet. Let's fix that. 1st level barbarians can rage, giving you resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage, advantage on strength checks and saves, and bonus damage to all strength-based attacks. If you're mad that we haven't gotten the rage yet, feel free to mix these levels in earlier at home, or do anything else. Nobody is forcing you to make the build exactly this way. If we started as a barbarian, you'd also get unarmored defense from barbarian, but they don't stack. It's fine. It's actually better to use our wisdom for it because that's also used for our monk save. 2nd level barbarians get reckless attacks, letting you give yourself advantage on an attack roll if you don't mind giving your enemies advantage to hit you. I mean, this is how Deku beats you every single time, but I'm sure it's valuable somewhere. You also get danger sense, giving you advantage on dexterity saves from spells and traps you can see. We'll get more into this later, but mixing this with evasion makes you amazing at avoiding fireballs. 3rd level barbarians can choose a primal path. The Path of the Storm Herald lets you choose an environment you identify with. Deserts are cruel, horrible places that relish suffering and only let the strongest survive. Perfect for you. Your Storm Aura lets you deal 2 fire damage to everyone within 10 feet of you. Your fire can be a little wild sometimes, and you don't play well with others. 4th level barbarians get another ability score improvement. More wisdom will be more important later, but here's a sneak peek. It's for bigger and better explosions. Back over to monk now, which is another difference from Yang, more monk levels. I guess Bakugou is just more chill. Just kidding, he's so mad he can throw himself up a wall. 9th level monks get unarmored movement improvement, meaning that you can move up walls or over water while you're not wearing armor as long as you land somewhere solid. Also, if you get knocked off a building, it's not really an issue. You got slow fall. 10th level monks get purity of body, making you immune to poison and disease. No joke, this level, just wash your hands. Pause the video, wash your hands, and come back. I want to see my friends again. 11th level elements monks can learn a new elemental discipline. Flames of the Phoenix lets you cast Fireball with 4 key points, dealing 8d6 fire damage to creatures in a 20-foot radius that fail a dexterity save. Pairing your evasion with danger sense, you can probably just cast it at your feet and be fine. Your monk die also bumps up to a d8. 12th level monks get another ability score improvement. Let's bump up that wisdom for more AC and harder saves from your fireball. We'll round this off with some more barbarian levels. 5th level barbarians get fast movement, adding 10 to your movement speed, meaning your base speed is 60 feet or 120 feet with a dash action, 180 feet with a double dash, thanks to Step of the Wind and a Nintendo GameCube. Unfortunately, extra attack from barbarian does not stack with extra attack from monk. The only way to get stacking extra attacks is with fighter at level 11. If that makes you mad, just channel your anger into hitting things with fire. 6th level Storm Heralds get Storm Soul, meaning that as a desert boy, you can always resist fire damage and set things on fire you're holding as an action. Can you hold Deku's hopes and dreams? Are they flammable? Only one way to find out. The real benefit is the resistance though. You don't have to be raging while that's going, meaning that even if you don't make the dex save on your fireball at your feet, you're only going to be taking 1/4 of the total damage of fireball. 7th level barbarians get Feral Instinct, giving you advantage on initiative rolls, and you can't be surprised if the first thing you do in combat is enter after a rage. It's actually not always the best move for you because you can't throw a fireball out while you're raging, but it's fine. Toru is probably the only person who would surprise you, and you can beat her without the fireball. Our capstone is the 8th level of Barbarian for an ability score improvement. Bumping your dexterity would make you safer from your fireballs, but more wisdom would make your fireballs bigger. So wisdom is the clear option for being reckless, I guess. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, you're fast with a ton of movement so that you can go wherever you want quickly. You've also got magical damage for all of your attacks so you can blow up anything. Finally, you can shoot fireballs at your feet, and if you fail the saving throw, you still only take 2d6 worth of fire damage, or none if you succeed the save. For weaknesses, shooting a fireball at your feet is actually not the best strategy. Not as a 4 elements monk, that is, because you spend 4 ki points per fireball, so you've only got 3 per day, and then you can't use Fangs of the Fire Snake. Bummer. Strongs are also just not ideal. If you just did a real monk, you'd have better AC. Finally, your charisma is low, so your classmates might hate you. But they're flammable, so who cares? Blow them up, blow yourself up, blow everything up. Explosions are cool. You're explosion boys, so you're cool. Just make sure that you never learn or grow. It's better to burn out than fade away. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe for more. We make 2 videos every week. If you join the Patreon, you can vote in the poll for the character you want to see next. It's another redemption round, which means it's weird. Shrek from Shrek, Lex Luthor, the Superman villain, Ash from Final Fantasy XII, not Overwatch, and Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan.